Good start.
Oh, yeah, we're live, man. How are you feeling, Eric?
I feel very excited in the future and past and in the present.
Our guest, Alex Abel. Is that how you say it?
That's it.
How you feeling?
I feel good.
Thanks for coming on. We do this little intro now, little music behind it.
I like it. It's kind of like
This-
Twilight Zone or something.
Well,
Why not the theme to Back to the Future?
first off, this is one of my favorite bands of all time. This is Explosions in the Sky. This is the instrumental band that you heard in Friday Night Lights. Yeah?
I've heard a wedding video have this.
This is the default setting that
Mine?
comes with your iPhone.
Maybe. Mine?
My proposal has this in the background.
Oh, okay.
Because I like that heartbeat.
Did I edit that?
I think you shot it. You shot my proposal. If people want to see me
yeah.
propose to my wife on this Tampa Improv comedy stage, with a brick of Mitch Hedberg in the back wall. Did y'all know that?
There's an actual brick
Yeah, he used to
of
live
him,
in Tampa.
Like his ashes.
There's something related.
Press down.
No, seriously, there's something like that related to the brick.
That's gross.
He lived in Tampa, man, for a while. So that's your fun fact. You know what else is a fun fact?
This song does kick in eventually,
That-
or no?
Yeah, but we
The
gotta
build up.
listeners need to support the sponsors that support this show, right?
Yes, please do.
Yeah?
Please.
Look, it's tax season, man. Liberty tax guys out on the street trying to get you to pull over in Statue of Liberty outfits.
There's some good ones out there.
Is he
Crackheads.
twirling the sun?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've been doing a bit about it for a while. I don't think we need an American symbol as the mascot.
For the
We're
what,
fucking
taxes?
we're terrible at finances.
Oh, okay.
And it's a French present. Is the
That's
Statue of
true.
Liberty.
Yeah, that's true too.
Anyway.
What else?
What else? Well, look, if you want me to finish the joke, I will. I don't want the Statue of Liberty.
It's a really somber
I wanna-
opening we're having today.
I want a Jewish guy out there twirling a bagel that looks like the penguin. Yeah, not bad.
Funner. Yeah.
I do that in the beginning of a set to see how this crowd's going to be.
How racist is this crowd?
Oh
How many
my
people
God.
can I immediately offend?
It usually does well in Florida. So tax season. Have you done your taxes yet?
No, not at all.
But you got some side businesses going on, or side ideas, hustle, whatever it is.
Mm-hmm.
Anything you're collecting money for on the side, you should have some kind of cloud accounting software. We're going to pimp out FreshBooks, and I got the copy in front of me. What's it called?
FreshBooks.
FreshBooks, our listeners get 30-day free trial. If they go to, gofreshbooks.com/sweat. You get the hookup. Holler if you hear me. And then it helps the show. So just click on the link that's in there, even if you're not interested. All of it is good juju. It all helps. And if you want to use our referral code for your buddies, send it to them. That helps the program, man. We're going to start thinking of some other revenue-generating things like this.
Once you come up with new revenue-generating things, you have to account for them in your FreshBooks, right?
Bam!
Nice.
Look at that! Look at that! The guy's on it, man. So go freshbooks.com/sweat. Get your accounting on, get your bookkeeping on, and let's get fresh with it. I don't think that's their slogan.
That's what it says.
So you ready?
Right on the copy.
You ready for your real intro?
No. Don't do it, please.
It's gonna scare Alex a little bit, but I do my radio call in real quick, and it'll kick up a little bit. I'm just gonna geek ahead. Are you ready? Howdy toddy, God Almighty. This is Sweat Equity Podcast. All right, like embarrasses.
Douche
Eric. Look, man, you gotta have your thing.
Yeah.
It's not
We'll
really
figure out a
thing.
new one. It's part of the revamp,
You
rebranding.
could probably go to Fiverr and get somebody to make one.
How dare you? What? There's nothing wrong with my hottie toddy.
That could be a fun little project, though.
I'm down.
Create a
I used-
intro for a radio show.
I used to
Catchphrase.
fuck around on Fiverr for fun and get like animated videos, and it would be like hates on my friends in fantasy football league kind of thing.
Probably a lot of butt stuff.
Yeah. Well, it would be like stuff that you probably
I pumped the
shouldn't
brakes
bring
on
up.
that, by the way.
butt stuff?
On my phrasing, I pump the brakes.
Oh, I was like, is that a thing you do with butt stuff?
I stopped doing
Is
that.
that like
actually.
squeezing the prostate or
no
something?
longer do that. I pump the brakes on it.
Pump the bees. All right. Well, yeah, no, I used to get silly stuff done on Fiverr because I get drunk and just be like, I'm gonna get this guy to make Kyle photoshopped into like a gay bar because he would feel uncomfortable if he was there in real life. Anyway, speaking of digital marketing,
we always put our guests
Great
into
segue.
a hole every time.
Yeah.
like throw them into the fire.
we want to see how they react. Everybody listening or watching wants to see how bad we are at pulling our guest in.
Alienating
already
them
starting at a
immediately.
mulligan. So tell the people about yourself. Any handles? I know you sent it to us in email, but it's always good to throw it out there.
Sure. So Twitter, Instagram, I_am_Abel, ABELL. If you're interested in one of the projects, I guess we'll probably get into today, my time travel project.
Yes, get into it.
Definitely.
Let's do that right now,
we're
man.
definitely doing that.
You can check it out. At,
Don't bury the lead.
You can check it out at timetravelers.org, and that's with one L because we're in America.
I like it. All right. So, all right. Tell us about it. What? I want to know all about it. I'm very excited. We were gonna have you on anyway because you're just a eloquent guy when we met at Fuck Up Nights in Tampa. But and you can talk like pragmatic digital marketing stuff, which perks my ears up when I meet someone. But the time traveling stuff, when I saw you posting, what logo do you like, A, B, C, or D? I was like, what is this? Because we love Interstellar.
Yeah.
And we were just kind of freaking out the other day trying to figure out the whole timeline and all that stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I don't think I've seen somebody take time travel this seriously.
I take it pretty seriously. It all started like a year ago now.
Uh-huh.
Or was it?
Or was it? Who knows? Maybe it was many years ago or many years into the future. But I was reading a book. There's this book called Hyperspace by this futurist Michio Kaku. And
What was that?
yeah, Michio Kaku.
Yeah.
Okay.
I know him.
Yeah.
He's pretty. Yeah, he's pretty
I think it's
prominent.
Michio Kaku.
Maybe. Yeah. My pronunciation.
Oh, that's how you say it?
I think so. I'm not trying to be a dick. I'm sorry, but in case somebody else has heard it a different way.
Yeah,
they go,
I'm from
"Oh,
South
okay."
Georgia, so I'm going to butcher a lot.
Oh,
of
no, I thought you were
pronunciations.
just making like a
for real.
liberal person joke. Like, it's divisive,
I'm
not
a bigger
divisive.
nerd than you think I am. Okay.
No, it's fine. I thought you were
In a good way.
I thought you were running with it. You got scared. You should have just kept with it. All right.
So I get like 2 pages in, and it's talking about hyperspace, different dimensions, things like that. And it references this guy, and it says the world's leading time travel researcher. And I had to pause. I was like, first of all, there are people studying time travel, and there's a guy that's the leading time travel researcher that actually exists.
Sure.
So we had talked about LinkedIn. I got on LinkedIn, looked this guy up, Dr. Ronald Mallett. And he's actually he's at, I think, University of Pennsylvania, and we started exchanging back and forth, talking about his research. I mean, he's dedicated to the craft. For
Yeah.
sure.
What does he do? What kind of professor is he?
Astrophysics.
Okay, I figured that they're all going to be astrophysicists or some you know physicist of some kind.
So it got me thinking. One of the discussions that we had was I asked him, do you really think this is possible? Like actual time travel? This is crazy stuff to think about. And he said that he absolutely thinks it's possible within the next decade.
What makes him think that, though?
So just based on, he's actually, he's a theoretical astrophysicist.
Okay.
And he's expounded Einstein's theory of relativity to provide the theoretical framework for it to be possible. And he has a background with like the military and lasers, and he thinks that there's a way to,
well, I know, but it's
interesting
like,
stuff.
that doesn't, I know you're speaking shorthand, so it's like, you don't know probably his whole resume off the top of your head, but it's like, dude, the guy's legit. He's got lasers and shit.
He's got laser,
Lasers,
military
Einstein,
stuff.
But I mean, regardless, that was my first question. I said, what is the holdup? What's stopping you? Is it funding? And he said, absolutely. It's always going to be funding with research like that.
Right.
And so I think we talked about it at my FU nights.
Oh,
You can please curse.
you
All
can
right.
cuss.
All right.
Oh yeah. Yeah,
Unless
yeah.
it's something you don't normally do.
No, it's fine. At my fuck up night speech.
Yeah. Whatever you want to do, man.
All right, cool. But we had talked about my past. So I used to, in college, I would promote parties. I threw some concerts with about 600 or so people.
Mm-hmm.
And I loved that, but I got more into digital marketing, and it wasn't the path that ultimately, your parents and family are like, you got to get a real job.
Right.
But I started formulating in my head, what if there was a way to hype up time travel? Because everybody loves time travel. I mean, you guys, Interstellar,
Yeah.
Back to the
Yeah.
Future. There's a ton of just fandoms around time travel. So what if we could create events or create an association of small events in communities that do good, raise money, so a nonprofit, but also fund sci-fi inspired research, like what Dr. Mallett's working
Yeah.
on.
Why not? I mean, there's research out there that's like, I'm not going to say silly for lack of a better term, but it's like there's a lot of research money out there that I feel like is burned.
Yeah. A small amount, yeah.
And, it's not like this doesn't have a foundation of legitimacy either. It's not like you're saying, we're going to find leprechauns. Like, this is our mission. Like, that could be a thing. I don't know. But I doubt it. Anything's kind of possible. I try to, I'll make fun of it, but I'm into it. I think part of the thing is it's a little scary. I think that's a lot.
I know.
There's a lot of fear.
I don't know
around
if I'm
that.
sold on it. I'm like, okay, so this is possible. Is that something we want? I
I
mean,
mean, we get a lot of jokes about people saying, well, maybe you guys already have done it, and that's why a lot of these current year timeline things are happening. You've changed the nature of space-time.
that's pretty positive way to think about things, yes.
Well, yeah, what's that called? I always reference the Simpsons episode where Homer goes back to the dinosaur, like swats a mosquito, and then everything's changed.
Butterfly
when
effect,
Is that butterfly effect?
That's it.
mosquito effect.
I skipped the movie because of Ashton Kutcher, so I totally ruined myself on that.
They've got like 3 of those now, too, I think.
Do they? Sweet.
Just keeps happening.
Well, if it got worse than Ashton Kutcher as a lead, then I don't know if I'm going to see that. But I'll read the synopsis.
Yeah. So anyway, I think the logo that you were referencing that you saw, I was trying to create a logo and get some kind of crowdsourced feedback for one of the local clubs, Seminole Heights here in Tampa. I'll just come out and say it. There's a lot of weirdos there.
Well, for the people outside, we have people outside of the Florida and Tampa Bay, so
Okay.
it's the hipster neighborhood in Tampa.
Anything goes.
Yeah,
Serial killers,
eclectic.
whatever.
I,
You name
you
it.
had to bring up the serial killer, just driving my home value down even
You
further.
still live there? Oh my God, dude.
Yeah,
They found the guy.
yeah,
Apparently.
yeah. Well, we lost about $35,000 because of him, so that's pretty cool. Anyway, but yeah, it's the hipster part of town, probably a little bit more open-minded, a little bit more liberal. I've got like 4 lesbian couples just on my block, a lot of Subarus going on, and so more open-minded to a lot of stuff like this.
Yeah, so we I just got with a few people and I said, hey, do you guys want to start a time travel club? And they were like, hell yes, we do. And so I ran a few names by the group, and we ended up on Seminole Heights Interdimensional Time Travel Society, which is a really great acronym if you spell it out.
I went to Auburn, so
What's up,
you're gonna have to help me on
It's
this.
it's SHITTS.
Shits.
That's fun.
See, I can read. Well,
Anyways,
but you guys want things to be taken seriously too, right?
Well, I mean,
On the digital marketing side,
but the
it'll
whole,
catch your eye
Yeah.
and you'll be intrigued. I got you.
The whole point of it is that it's fun. Like, there's a place in California called the Echo Park Time Travel Mart, and it's a front and it's a supply store for time travelers. Like, that's all they carry. But it's
In the hood, Echo Park, you get cut
oh yeah.
getting your time travel on.
You want to talk about another hipster neighborhood? That's one for sure.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I mean, I used to live out there.
I know it is.
Well, no, man, I ain't going over there. That was the scary hipster one. There's the hipster neighborhoods that are up and coming, and then there's the ones that are just kind of decrepit, and a lot of hipsters live there
Those are homeless people.
because they don't care about the crime or anything.
They're not that different.
You know. Anyway, I'm getting you off topic.
Anyway.
So you have the shits, right? We'll be members of it as long as we don't have to do much, except just listen.
Yes.
All we're gonna do at the beginning is we're gonna host movie nights. So Back to the Future. We had a poll recently, and I think what everybody settled on was Bill and Ted. So first inaugural movie night gonna be Bill and Ted. We just get together, watch a time travel movie, discuss the topic. You know,
I can dig that. I'm
Yeah.
down. Where's it gonna be?
Keanu.
we're gonna do it at Velo Champ. It's a little bike shop.
Okay. Perfect. Only fixed gears, man. You must have a mustache like Raleigh Fingers. All right, so what? I guess where to go from here?
Can I go back to
Yeah.
the professor that you talked to that he was like
Thank you.
convinced within 10 years? What did he give you? What's his reasoning? What did he point to that was like, this is why, then we just don't have the funding for it?
I mean, that's a great question. I'll have to follow up with it.
Yeah.
With this
'cause
kind of stuff,
I'm just-
sometimes you just take it at face value because you're like that. I'm just so blown away by the statement that I support it.
Is it like conspiracy theorists, like because you have confirmation bias in a way that you already want to believe what's going on? So it's like I don't need to like
don't
really.
dig too deep.
Yeah, I don't.
I'm just because we got like the Large Hadron Collider is definitely got to be a part of that. So I mean, he's probably trying to save up some money to get some hours on that thing. I don't know how it works really, but okay.
I don't
was
even
just
know.
curious.
I don't know what you just said.
Yeah.
What was that?
The Large Hadron Collider. It's in Europe. It's
Like a super collider.
It's a particle accelerator that they use to try and detect new particles.
See,
They smash them. They accelerate them to like millions of miles an hour and
I'm a
try and catch it.
I'm a total dummy with all of this. My wife had to explain. I don't know anything about physics when I watched Interstellar, but it made that movie almost like made me cry.
It
'Cause
did. I mean, I cried.
I was like,
It's a sad
every
movie.
time.
Yeah.
well, but it's like, oh shit, man! Like we could be going through different dimensions, or like the fact that they go down to a planet and then go back up, and that one black dude's like fucking 50 years older
Yeah.
or something. He's like,
Yeah.
you left me up here. Like, what the fuck?
We've been
What?
going for a minute.
Well,
I didn't know that could even happen. Like
Yeah, no.
I'm such a rookie with all this science. But I think what's interesting is there's secretly a lot of people that find this stuff interesting, and the way it's taught in school, it's like regurgitation for science classes, or it's just I don't know. I don't think they find a good way to teach this stuff at all.
Well, I think you brought up a really good point. That's what kind of fascinated me the most. Like, I don't really care if it's actually real. I mean, I do, but like that's not the biggest kind of aha moment for me. The aha moment was that there are a boatload of people out there that are interested in this stuff. And Seminole Heights, we created kind of a local group because I think that in-person connection is important. But so I also created a couple of Facebook groups of just I have one global group and one American group, and we've grown two of these groups to 20,000 plus people that are
Nice.
just like interested in time travel.
And you're
cool,
not
yeah.
you're doing this on the side for fun.
Yeah.
You've got a baby.
Yeah, we just had a baby. My wife and I just had a baby in December.
Again, I was following you, cleaning up shit.
Nice.
That's a good post.
Yeah, well,
I
yeah.
debate doing that sometimes. I'm like-
There's blowouts and all kind of.
but I like that
great
you
news
you
stuff online.
posted about it.
And then all the other parents are like, we don't care. We didn't do it the first time it happened to us. Look at us. We need
I
to
laughed.
post
I
it.
was like, yeah, that's some diarrhea.
But yeah, I guess that's my ultimate goal is to one day prove my wife that you can actually make a ton of money with time travel stuff. But that's my side project for right now. So.
I mean, it's just that your branding and marketing looks good so far from what I've seen. It's cool.
Super witty too. Established. What does it say? Established 2042. I thought that was like. I was like, damn, that's. It's like when I see another comedian do a joke, and you're like, fuck, that's good. I wish I had thought.
It's right
I couldn't
there
think
the
about
whole
it, but
time.
that's right there, and it's a good, kind of wink nod. I always like that in logos and branding and stuff.
Yeah.
Plus, the Seminole Heights has two-headed gator, right? And so you put hourglass in the middle of that, which is just good negative space, man. I love it.
Well, thank you.
I've been doing a lot of logo concepts lately, so
Nice. If you ever need somebody to run it by, I'm your guy.
absolutely. And the other thing that I found interesting, because I'm nerding out on LinkedIn, and I haven't really been figuring out how to get more organic reach out there, but you had a lot of people that commented on that, and I was like, I got to see how, because here's my impression of LinkedIn's newsfeed. It's like It's like a recruiter going like, "Hey, I got a $55,000 job, blah 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 blah," and then the next person, I want to do a sketch that we're all in a bar, basically. The next one, there's a story about failure and redemption, but it's a real humble brag marketing thing. So it's like, 2 years ago, I lost everything.
Picture this.
I was the breadwinner in my house. My wife and kids. My parents were living with us. It was all on me. And then 2 years later, I figured it out, and I want to show you how to do it too. And like, all right, so that's the next thing. After that is some like nonsense business coach. And then after that, it's another quote, and then another failure story. And that's like basically the whole feed. I don't know if that's the same for you, but
I mean, I guess it depends on your network, but you see a lot of that. You see, especially the new thing. I think it's a way to game the algorithm, but it's like a line of text with a hook, because it cuts off the rest of the text. So it's like it gets you to click on the hook, and then that makes you appear in more people's search.
Yeah, I try to do that. Like, I'll try to asterisk stuff if I need to like put more detail into it. But I wanted to ask people last night. I was trying to figure out how to do it, and then it was like 0 people commented on it. But I wanted to see, I really have like a stick up my ass about people getting ripped off with digital services, and it really fucking bothers me that this industry it is very snake oil-ish, I would say. Hey, we're going to get you this amount of traffic or this amount of revenue or this amount of leads. And there's just such a education gap of this stuff. We try to go way overboard educating clients. But, man, I'm about to go like WWE wrestler, like just calling out this shit.
No, there's a ton of that. And I think it's carryover from like way back in the day. I don't know how long you guys have been in digital, but like, do you remember they had these like ad rotators? So it was back when advertisers would pay for impressions, and they had these whole like not click farm, but like impression farms.
Yep.
And it's the same thing now. I've heard of some people using even on LinkedIn, pay to play, where they have like a group of people, they all throw in however much, and then everybody comments on everybody's posts. But like, what's the point of that? Like, what's the end game that's going to get you? I mean,
I think if you have a book or something that some kind of product you can sell. I don't know how many funnel ads you get. I get a lot of like marketing funnel. This is how you do it. Here's my free ebook, and then you click on it. It's like all upsell.
Affiliate link to ClickFunnels or
yeah. If you knew how to do it all the time, why are you doing it to other marketers? Because
you see a lot of that where it's like, let me coach you on how to get 1 million sales. Just let me sell to you.
Right.
It's like, why aren't you doing what you're supposed to be doing? Quit trying to tell other people how to do it.
And right? I tell clients, none of this stuff
Those are the only people you hear from.
None of this stuff's new, right? Like, there was an old real estate guys used to do that. Like, I'm going to teach you how to sell real estate, flip it. Come to my seminar. It's like 10 grand.
Holiday Inn Express, 9 a.m., free continental breakfast that they give to everybody.
Have those?
Come on down. Probably.
So I try to explain everything in old school terms to clients that are not tech savvy at all. And I'm like, look, we're not, the online world is not that original. If anything, it's way more repetitive than anything else in the world. It's like copying business. Whatever someone's doing over here, I'm going to copy that and do it in a little bit different way, but faster. I have a fucking, I was thinking about it the other night. I was getting really pissed. Like, how many people have we talked to that almost everybody that comes to us has had a bad experience already? And like, oh yeah, this SEO company, they promised me a lot of traffic. I got nothing, and I paid them $50 grand a year. And it's like a local business. Like, that's a fucking lot of money for that's a lot of money just in general.
You could put a company under just messing them up like that.
And then the shocking thing about it is the clients that just blindly sign with these people. We never get the first time around.
Give us a blind sign every once in a while.
Send
50
some
grand a year. Holy hell!
Yeah, we can do so much with 50 grand for a local business. But it's one of those things where I figured since you're in the digital marketing world, I was gonna guess you had a similar thing going on.
Yeah. So basically, what I have going on is
Just, I mean, like attitude towards a lot of that stuff.
Oh, yeah,
You
I've
seem
got
like
that-
a decent guy from the few times we've talked.
No, I've got that same attitude, but I think that so I do get a lot of reach on my posts, and it's because I try to create authentic connections and interesting content. So, I'm not trying to sell business coaching services to business coaches or anything. Like I'll put something about time travel up there, or a good example is one of the things that I'm working on right now. I think I told you about it. It's
Just let me know when you got to get out of here.
probably about I got another 15 minutes or so.
I'm not going to edit that out, by the way. So,
Nice.
yeah, that's good.
But one of the things I'm working on right now is trying to figure out what makes people say yes. Like, why do people convert? Like, if you guys heard of conversion rate optimization,
Yeah.
so there's a lot of companies out there that kind of sell their formula.
Okay.
And that's what I used to do. That's how I got my start in marketing in Jacksonville. And they had this crazy formula that was, nobody's ever going to remember it. It was, I remember it, but it's C equals 4M plus 3V minus 2I. It's long.
I got to know what the variables mean. But
So it's
yeah.
it's like conversion, motivation. Yeah, write it down. Conversion, motivation, incentive, friction, anxiety. And another company called
Interesting.
Wider Funnel, they have a similar one, it's the lift model, and the value proposition is a airplane that's growing your likelihood to convert.
Mm-hmm.
But I came up with one called the CRAVE methodology.
Mm-hmm.
And so basically,
Sounds sexy.
yeah, you got marketing should be sexy, right?
You should, in the marketing stuff you're doing should have good marketing terms.
Yeah, like Tokaboga's logo.
Yeah, man.
It's fire. It's nice.
So close on the name.
Oh man,
It's all good. It's all good.
Nobody
It's-
ever gets it right.
Look, we
Don't
may
worry.
be saying it wrong.
how's it
That's
how-
true. I've been repeating you. I
Yeah.
don't know what the hell the
Yeah,
pronunciation
I don't
is.
know how to read.
How's it pronounced?
We say Tokabaga, but I mean,
Well, we say this way now.
well, I mean, it's an Indian tribe, so it's like, who knows? So,
So listener
the white
homework.
man says.
Listener homework. Go and
Tampa-
look it up.
Tampa means sticks of fire, hence the fire logo. Yeah. So, and we sit around like we're in a campfire, kind of planning shit out.
Yeah.
That was the whole brand world.
Very cool.
Figured you'd appreciate
That's
it.
good branding.
Thanks, man.
But the CRAVE methodology. So you've got a situation where you want somebody to say yes or to do some certain action. So like your example, you put a post up and you want to get some feedback from it, right?
Mm-hmm.
So there's each letter has an element. So R is reason. What's the reason that the person is in that decision making mindset? Like,
Mhm.
why are they on LinkedIn? What's their reason or motivation for being there? And you have to understand that. The next element is action. What's the action that you want them to take? Are
Mhm.
you asking them to do it? So is it clear? And then V is the value proposition. So like, what's in it for them?
Mm-hmm.
Is
I'm
it-
writing this down.
Okay.
I think it's if
Yeah,
that's
cool.
all right.
Yeah,
I don't
yeah,
know if
go
this
for it,
is
man. Like I said, I'm working on a book, but it'll probably take me 12 years to write. So
why.
because I'm slow, I got a lot of projects in the fire.
All right.
But and then E is the experience. So like everything else. In LinkedIn, it's is it spelled correctly? Is it formatted right?
Mm-hmm.
Is there stuff that catches their eye? For web conversion, it's it does it work? Stuff like that.
Mhm.
But so like
So what was C?
so C, so like first of all, if you get those four right, you're gonna have something that gets people raving about what you're doing.
Mm-hmm.
But the C is that connection, so that authentic human connection, and that's what actually makes people crave what you're doing and come back again and again.
So I feel like that is a lot of YouTube celebrities are very good at that, right?
Yeah.
They're making this like, I don't know if vlog is still a term, but
Mhm.
it looks like they're looking, their eye line is directly at the lens.
Yeah,
So it looks like they're talking to the person.
It's like you have a friend.
right.
it's digital, but it feels authentic. Yeah,
Yeah.
It's not like watching TV. It's different when they're talking at you.
I feel like we should
To
just like
you.
look at the camera.
I mean, you
Right.
can if you want. You're getting a lot of close-ups. It's automatically doing it, so that's good.
Connect.
Because sometimes it'll just hit that like that painting of me when I was 2.
Is that really you?
Yeah,
No way.
yeah, man. It's pretty. It's a good pod, but
But
for
I
the
got,
audio listeners,
but
yeah.
that whole thing, I guess the value in that formula, it's a way to analyze what you're doing
yeah.
and what you're putting out there, and you can use it with clients as well.
But how do you analyze like, I get value proposition. Some of these are hard to quantify, right?
Yeah, but here's a good example because it's just a heuristic. It's a mental shortcut for
Mm-hmm.
whenever you're trying to make a situation happen. So let's say you're in a bar, and your goal. I think we're all married, but let's
Mm-hmm.
pre-college years.
Okay.
We're
We're daydreaming now.
daydreaming. Doodle-doo.
Or time travel.
Yeah, we're time traveling back in time to pre-college.
Call back.
You got a fake ID. You got into the bar, and there's a young lady that you're interested in.
Mm-hmm.
So your conversion goal is, let's say, to get her home so you can get to know her better. So our first,
C is for consent.
you first want to
Real close to
understand,
Didn't say.
not that, but you want to understand what's her reason to be there. And you can kind of pick up on different cues, like, is just from initial conversation, is she kind of looking around? Does she seem like she wants to meet other people, or is she like guarded with a wall of her friends? Like,
Mhm. Offensive line, I used to call that.
yeah,
Mhm.
exactly. Because that's going to shape the how easy it is to pursue this pickup, I guess you could say.
Yeah.
And then value, like what kind of girl
value.
is she?
Okay. I thought you were, yeah.
Not the big V.
Mm-hmm.
What does she value in a guy? Like, is she into just buff dudes? Because she's probably not going to go for me. Probably the wrong prospect.
Okay.
Experience. Are we both drunk and it's back in time before Uber existed? Like, how are we even going to get home? Like, there's a number of different things that you can analyze in a situation to figure out what you need to influence to.
I just
that
tried to be
conversion.
funny.
God, yeah, if I would have tried to run through a method like that,
Yeah.
I'm to go pee my pants
are
in
you
the
that
corner, sir.
Are you that analytical where you're like in other scenarios? Because I don't feel like this is one you actually applied, or maybe you did and just
No,
didn't
I-
articulate it.
Yeah.
I mean, this probably has been sitting in your craw for a while. The way that you're looking at this, right? Because again, online is not that different from offline. I don't think.
Yeah, well, you explaining it to us is not the same as you running through it in your head at
Yeah.
warp speed because you're used to doing. It's
Yeah.
not the same thing because we have no idea what you're getting to.
Yeah, and I guess that's the thing is that it's heuristics are like that because you can run through them quickly, and so it's
Right.
probably a lot harder to explain in person than to just run through it.
Yeah, it does. It would make you feel over analytical or whatever.
Yeah, I mean, we kind of talk about that without using the cool term heuristic, but it's just like, what can we do and have snapshot kind of decision making? We're kind of working on that slowly. Can we get dashboards that just go, okay, here's where we're at today?
Yeah.
Just know the lifeblood of the company kind of stuff. And that's similar kind of thing in a way, because it's not going to tell us exactly how good we are, but it's going to give us we're in between the nautical beacons.
Pre-made decisions sort of thing. Like it's like, okay,
Yeah.
well, in this situation, we already know this is what to do, sort of thing. And
Yeah.
lessening the variables is
Yeah.
important.
What do you see in the digital marketing universe? What do you think? Anything you think about augmented reality stuff, virtual reality stuff? What do you think the next kind of bigger thing will be? I feel like Amazon, Google, Facebook have such a stronghold over most of the internet. It's really interesting to kind of see the corporate consolidation of everything. But what from a digital marketer standpoint, what do you think is going to be like the next kind of platform to kind of market either advertising or just that kind of holistic marketing approach? Like craves more of that bigger strategy kind of meets tactics idea.
Definitely, yeah. I think that I think Amazon just launched their Go stores.
Yeah.
like yesterday or something.
You see how long the line was?
No,
Ironically, all around the block.
that's hilarious.
For people who don't know, it's the grocery store that doesn't have is supposed to not have any lines, but it had a fucking line
Yeah.
up the yin yang.
So they got rid of the cashiers, but they kept the line. So the worst part, nice.
And everything's censored as you pick it up. It'll just automatically charge you as you walk out with Amazon Pay or whatever it is.
But I guess I see that being one of the big shifts that we see in marketing is how do you go ahead and have the friction moment in a transaction, and how do you go ahead and set that up with a customer so it doesn't exist anymore? Because I think that's what they're after, where you go into the store, you grab what you want, and you leave. You don't even think about the purchase. You don't have that awkward buyer's remorse until maybe you get your credit card bill.
That's a good way of thinking about that.
Or you have the fucking. I hate I'm going to sound like an asshole.
I need
but
a
follow me.
dad mad
Dad mad.
audio drop button.
All right.
Dad mad.
You get mad at this too, I bet. When you're at the grocery store and they're like, and you can't get pissed. All right. At the grocery store, you're checking out and they're like, would you like to donate $1 to kids with cleft palates? And you're like, well, I'll do it on my own because I want the tax write-off. And I've said this before, just like kind of an Asperger's
It's a railroad
mode.
job. I mean, I hate that. Too.
Why? But then you feel like shit
Yeah.
if you don't do
It's
it.
designed to
I
make
don't.
you feel bad, I think.
I'm over that. I do
Railroad-
my own
Do you want to
thing.
buy candy
Well,
for
even-
the troops? I'm
even
like,
worse-
what the fuck?
I know.
Even
Dude,
worse
No, I
than
don't want fat
diabetes?
troops.
Yeah.
Even worse than that, though, is like some of these new grocery stores. My wife is from Germany, and she gets like really uncomfortable
Oh,
when
be
people
the
make
same.
just needless small talk. So like some of the grocery stores, they're like,
She
"So I
sounds
see that
awesome.
I see that you're buying, I see that you're buying soup. Are you having soup for dinner tonight?" And she's like, "What are you talking about? Why are you asking me about my
Hey,
dinner?"
Stein! I gotta
Uh,
go. Are you
But-
getting some badass chocolate cakes out of her? No?
No.
You never had German chocolate cake?
I bet that's not I bet it's not even from Germany.
What?
I have no idea. I'm talking out my ass, but that seems like the sort of thing they'd be like,
I'm
actually, it's
gonna-
made in
I'm gonna
Hoboken,
take
New
you guys-
Jersey.
There's a German bakery in South Tampa. I'll
Let's
take
go.
you
I'm
over.
Let's go
gonna
after
look
this. But anyway, so that's the.
It's not ketogenic.
They're trying to get rid
many
of
carbs.
that whole awkward because that's part of the experience part of the crave methodology. It's those moments where it's like you have the likelihood to turn around and say, I don't want to do this. I don't want to, like, if you're approaching a client, what if there was some way that you could just make it where they don't have to sign the paperwork and sign on the dotted line? I mean, that's always going to exist, but there's new digital ways to get around that. Like Uber, for example, like they set it up at the beginning. And then after that, you just
The CX, the
Yeah.
client experience, customer experience, client
experience,
experience. Yeah, we think about that a lot, but at the same time, our big thing, as I see it going forward, is transparency in this industry is going to happen. I think a lot more, especially with pricing. Like, it's Wild West out there.
Yeah.
That's part of the reason people can get ripped off all the time, because they don't know how much stuff costs and should cost.
German chocolate cake was made by Samuel German, an American.
nice.
There's German bakeries, right?
Oh, don't start backtracking now.
What?
I totally called it.
No way.
Dude, I'm looking at it right now.
German chocolate cake.
The guy's name was Samuel German.
Was he German?
Doesn't matter. It says English American. It says English American chocolate maker.
But you know,
Alex,
guys,
back me up.
there. Okay,
That's from the United States.
you found it on Reddit. Great.
It's on Wikipedia.
Yeah,
Good
through
as-
Reddit.
It's like the National Archive.
Probably
Lock
found
it
it on
in.
4chan. What's
Did
it?
I already know that? I must have.
I don't know. Maybe you were there already. And and maybe the way to get to that fourth dimension is love for a chocolate cake.
Or cake.
Just to bring in Interstellar again.
Nice.
Let's go watch Interstellar with a cake. All right. Digital marketing wise, I feel like transparency is going to get more and more. To me, morally, I feel like it's kind of our duty to really, even though we probably lose a lot now, in the early stages of this firm, but I feel like long term that will pay dividends in like trust with a lot of people. And my thing is like, I can't sleep if we're ripping someone off, kind of thing. But I feel like a lot of people are just like, it's intangible.
Everybody does it.
Yeah.
It's a big deal. It's part of the business.
But I think that's a good point. But I think it's even like thinking of some of these conversion rate optimization companies. That's a relatively new digital marketing field, but a lot of them, they'll approach big corporations and they'll say, well, if we can run a test and get you a lift, can we just have 10% of that lift? Because that's, it's pretty transparent. There's a deal, but let's say they get an extra $1 million that wouldn't have been there. They're getting, 10% of that. That's a pretty big chunk of change. It's a sliding scale too. It's based on performance. So I think performance-based results are going to be a lot bigger in the future.
See,
Which they should be. Should have been all along.
I think standardization of terms needs to happen somehow.
Yeah.
That's the hardest part of communicating all this stuff. Like, what does a conversion mean? So, like, some people don't understand. Like, no, your lead, someone filling out a form as a lead, that's your conversion. They're like, yeah, but they didn't give us any money. And they're like, no, that's not the main objective for you as a service business, for marketing people online. So it's tough. It's tough because I talk to a lot of people. I go, how much does a lead cost you? And they're like, I don't know. Like, you don't have an idea. Like, how much are you spending in marketing and like in? So I'll go crazy one day and show you my totem pole kind of idea of how to look at all this stuff.
Finished.
It's
not finished yet.
It's pretty. It's all up in this 5 head. It's all under this
that
Tampa
totem
Bay.
pole.
Maybe you can do a better job of explaining it than I did my Crave.
Oh,
No. It's way more convoluted and,
yeah.
and complicated. Takes
Yeah.
his pants off every time.
Well, that
hot.
I get.
Sweaty, sweat equity.
The legs. Well, the legs are where all the power's from.
Right.
So I get really hot and like a little feverish, and then I have to take clothes off. So that's what happens. Anything else? Anything to point people to? Anything I forgot to bring up?
I mean, you can follow along with the time travel stuff at timetravelers.org. Right now with that, my passion project, I'm trying to learn the audiences because, like, I don't know anything about Doctor Who, but that's, like, one of the biggest groups. So this, like, Sunday in Tampa, Florida, there's a Time Lord Fest. Yeah. So I volunteered with it. I just want to check this world out.
Dude, you got to come back on, like, next month.
Yeah,
And I want to hear about... like, you have an open invite, by the way. Whenever
thanks, man.
you're down the street too.
Appreciate it. Yeah.
Well, the show's supposed to be pragmatic business advice. A lot of it is digital marketing stuff too, because a lot of people, if they're doing their side passion thing, I'm making an Etsy store. They need advice in that direction. So next time you come on, maybe we'll do like a mailbag or something. But yeah, I mean, I want to hear the progression of this group. And last thing I wanted to ask you about was the Facebook group. So we need to do it for our Sweat Equity page because I think that'd be a good area to drum up discussion. And if you invite people, they automatically get added, right?
Yeah.
So there.
Which you got to be careful of,
What? Why that? Why?
Well, you just don't want to make a lot of people.
Oh, we don't care about that.
Or you can just add them. There.
Yeah, I mean, by now through all my friends on there, been doing comedy for 12 years and promoting shows and stuff. I think they know I'm kind of a whore with all this stuff. But at the same time, you always get the other people that are like, I didn't know you were doing any of that. And you're like, I feel like this is all I post about kind of thing. So it's tough. But
well, no, I think the group is absolutely the way to go because everybody has a page. But I don't know if you guys saw the recent news in digital, but Facebook is pretty much making it almost impossible to reach your audience through your page without paying for boosted posts. So groups is kind of like the last holdout, and that's where everybody's kind of migrating their strategies.
But they've already double backed on that. According to, I follow Kat Howell. I don't know if you've seen her. She's like a Facebook advertiser. She's a good person to follow because she'll give an update every week of this stuff that's going on. So it's like a cheat code for me to kind of know what's going on. I already know how to do a lot of that advertising.
Yeah.
But with that stuff, that changes everything.
Changes, yeah.
But I usually don't have people with a huge following anyway. So we usually have people that have a small following and we go ads like crazy. But the groups, it creates engagement. What have you seen out of it? Because some of the ones I'm in, they're really trying to sell you something. Sneak them in there.
Yeah, well, that's the whole experience part too. Is you have to have interesting topics that people in that community or in that audience are interested in, and you can't just say, like I could easily with those 20,000 people say, go buy this T-shirt about time travel every third post or something, but like that's gonna alienate people, and eventually it's gonna kill the engagement from the group.
Yeah, and I think you're seeing the whole movement of like, look, good content. Just have that for your blog, your social outlets, all that stuff.
Always goes back to the content every
is king.
time.
Yep.
Yeah, just try to do. Don't try to game the system. That's what this fucking SEO guys try to do.
I used to have a marketing company of my own. I did consulting back in the day, and it was golden rule marketing. It was do unto others as you would have them do to you, and that's a good rule to live by.
I agree. I think we'll see more kind of, and we didn't even get to net neutrality, which I kind of wanted to, but we'll do it another time. We've been shoving it off for months.
Why fight it? It's coming. It's not coming. It's going away. Is what I meant.
Yeah, but what does it mean?
We've talked
for
about
everybody?
it a little bit, but whatever.
All right, you got a bolt.
Yeah, I got a bolt.
We got some other work to do. Thanks for coming on, and we want T-shirts, man. How do we get them?
Oh, T-shirts, man. I'll get you guys one.
Okay, but
want
not a
the-
Haynes beef.
What about the people listening that are going to pay for them?
So
How do
we're
you do it?
so one of the projects we're working on is the on timetravelers.org. We're going to be launching a online time travel museum. So Interstellar, Bill and Ted, all these things we've talked about. It'll have a breakdown, but also a store, so you can buy fun T-shirts that impress your friends with your knowledge. And
You're gonna do
fashion.
Redbubble? You're gonna do Big Cartel?
no, I think what we're going to do is probably to start out with what's it called? Printable, I think.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's basically it'll drop ship it, and they'll print one at a time.
Just don't get the Haynes Beefy tee, please.
No, I always go straight alternative apparel.
Good.
Comfy.
Yeah.
Comfy and nice.
That's
Yeah.
only
No-
reason I wear these shirts
Yeah.
Right.
every day of my life.
Yep. American Apparel, same shirt.
Yeah.
Nice.
Bought 7 of them.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I'm good.
Yeah.
All right. Thanks for coming on, man. And
Thanks for having me.
You know, I can't wait to fucking time travel.
Yeah, man.
I'm excited.
Yes, you can.
Can I?
Yes.
I'm gonna have to.
Maybe you already did.
So. Oh, I see what you did there.
Yeah,
I see what
yeah.
you did there.
You're lucky I didn't do that more, guys. All right.
Next
Every
time. Maybe you did do it more in the future.
See, now it's fun.